A very good morning to all my dear students, Mr. P. Vishnu, Kunal Jain, Keshav Kothari, Ishan, Pooja, Shrindi, Yumanashi, Bhargavi. Good morning, children. Gunjan Devi, Jyoti, Lakshita, Sudhanshu, Shekhar. Gunjan has come up with a good morning and also a query. It's an illegal contract, what you have written, Gunjan. That's correct. Good morning, Priyanka, Dhwani Modak, Putindya, Sahil, Pansuri, Chanchal, Bhumika, Swati, Himanshu, Pathak, Ekta, Yash, Abhinav, Parnita. See, it's just take a second for you to take good morning, and it takes so much time for me to take all your names. Sheetal, Saima, Ziba, Ash, Babu, Deepak, Jia Patel, Rahul, Deepak, Shivani, Priya, Miss Manvi Khanna, Rafika. Good morning, children, all of you. Mr. Surya Kumar is writing, I'm sad because it's the last day of the class today. And not to worry, Mr. Surya Kumar, I will be with you at your back when you will be revising your study material and other things. And my support will always be with all of you when you clear your CA foundation. Yes, very good, Ms. Ziba. You have revised the topics. Ms. Vaishnavi Bhan Jadhav, good morning. Vibuhur, Sarvasva Seni, Farhan. Children, we have very, very important topics to be done today. We'll be completing our Companies Act today. So, good morning, Durga, Tanmoy, Tejashri, Muhammad, Aditya, Shivani, all of you children, Kushbu, Mahendra, Ankit, Richesh, Badurul, Priya, Amit, Keshav, Sagar, Anu, Parth, Ustad, Kumari, Miki, M. Gauda, Chehel. I hope I have taken all the names. Gareja, Arshdeep. So that it's last class, so that you don't say that my name was not taken. Harshit Bhutani. Good morning, children. Sanjana and everyone. All right, children. So we have started with the Companies Act last time. First of all, let me just fulfill your desire that, ma'am, we cannot see the partnership. I hope you all can see the partnership notes. Or if you want, I can show you. It is here on the admin panel where you go and you can see your notes. If you can see, sale of goods is over there, partnership, all the acts are over there. MCQs have also been uploaded for all of you, and now I will be uploading your Companies Act as well. So please, I hope children, you are able to now see the partnership. It was already uploaded. Maybe the net was not working at your end. That's why you couldn't see it easily. And today you will be able to see your Companies Act, both the presentation. Since we're already continuing the presentation, that's why I've not uploaded it. We'll complete first presentation and also second presentation itself as it is the last class. Lakshita, sections are not compulsory in CA Foundation. If you can remember, it's okay. Otherwise, you can leave the section. Thank you so much, Mr. Harshit Bhutani, to telling that, ma'am, all the PPTs are visible. Great. I'm glad. Vangi, Hanumanan, Kumavat, Anshita. Good morning, children. Thank you, Saurabh Kumar. I'm glad to know that. Kunal Jain is asking, ma'am, immediately preceding financial year. Preceding financial year means the year, if I'm sitting over here in September 2022. So the financial year, which is previous one, will be 1st March 2021 till 31st March 2022. तो जिस साल में आप है उससे पहले वाला जो होता है, that is known as preceding financial year, and financial year always starts with April and ends with 31st March. Yes, Mr. Yash Gupta. Thank you, Mr. Nichesh. The feelings are same over here as well. Amendments will be covered, not to worry. And most of the amendments that occurred in your 2021, Ms. Saima, have already been incorporated in the online study material. It is updated. All right. So, Surya Kumar, when you open the place where you're writing the queries, you will see you can at the same link, because my link is different. I have to upload, so my page will be different. But I was just showing you that it is the page, same page where it will be visible from your end. So you write your NRO number, registration number, and the way you send me queries at the same place, if you'll see on the left hand side, you can see the notes and assignments as well. Okay. Thank you, P. Vishnu. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kunal. Ankit Mishra, we will be covering all the doctrines today, so don't worry about that. Joint venture, Harshit, joint venture means when you are joining together some business, somebody is undertaking the business together with the other person, and all the net assets and worth are jointly held by those people. So associate companies also include joint venture. Okay, Ash Babu, sir, I hope now you can see it clearly. Definitely, Mr. Narendra, you can write the law paper in your own words. Also, the simple thing that you have to remember is the information should be correct. It should be to the point. And I'll try to take up few of the case study questions from examination as well, so that you know how to write the papers. Otherwise, in the sale of goods and partnership also, if you'll refer to the last lectures, we have discussed about the case study. So you can see those recorded lectures. You will come to know how you have to attempt the paper as well. So children, time is less and we have to complete each and everything. So let's hurry up and start up, because we have left few type of companies also. Now you all know the silent features, the same features of LLP and companies you have to remember and retain the information. Corporate bail theory बहुत important है, अच्छे से पढ़कर जाना. Salomon का case law now you all remember, and the other case laws just for lifting the corporate bail. Make your notes, keep revising. That is very, very important. All right. So holding and subsidiary, you all remember what was the relationship between holding and subsidiary? Come on, tell me. So what was the relationship? How do you come to know? Bhargavi, we will be revising associate company, so you will understand that as well. Mr. MD Barkatullah, yes, now can you see the Partnership Act notes? Yes or no? Because I've shown you live on the site as well, where you can see the notes. I hope now you can see the notes, okay? Harshit Bhutani, we'll take up the queries after finishing the syllabus, because we have to do a lot today. Now hurry up and tell me what is the meaning of Manvi. We will be doing for judiciary capacity, don't worry. Yes, you can underline the keywords. No problem in that as well. Hello. Hello. Sir, am I connected? Because I was getting the call from the institute itself. Am I connected? Am I audible? All right. All right. So children, what is the relationship of holding and subsidiary? Absolutely correct. If we have the composition of board of directors, one company is controlling, or if you're having more than 50% of the share capital is being held in another company, then we have a holding and subsidiary relationship. Excellent. Sudhanshu, Miss Anu, Gareja, Surya, Keshav, Avinash, Narendra, Bhumika, all of you are correct. So holding and subsidiary. And if I ask you, I'm a public company and I'm holding a private company, then that private limited company also deemed to be a public company just because of its holding subsidiary relationship. After that, we did the associate company as well. So what was the associate company? Either I'm holding 20% of the share capital in other company, or I'm participating in the business decisions of that company. So if I tell you that ABC Limited is holding 15% share capital in CD Private Limited. I said ABC Limited is holding 15% of the share capital of CD Private Limited and is participating in all the business decisions of CD Limited. सारे बिजनेस डिसीजन सीडी लिमिटेड के कि वो कैसे काम करेगा, कैसे कंपनी रन होगी, who will be the directors, how the company will be functioning, all the important business decisions are taken by ABC Limited. So can we say ABC and CD are associate companies? Yes or no? Can we say ABC Limited and CD Limited are associate companies? Yes or no? Raghav, you answered the question before even completing. Let me completing the question. Mr. Raghav Shah, now you should answer. Can we say that whether these are associate companies? Yes, section 2, subsection 6 is absolutely correct, Harshad. %50 shareholding is holding and subsidiary. Now I'm waiting for the answer for this one, children. Will it? Yes, ma'am, it will be an associate company because it fulfills the Participation condition. Very good, Ishan, Bish, Pritindya, Gauda, M. Gauda, Bhargavi, Sayed, Monu, Raghav, Kunal, Sudhanshu, Keshav. Excellent children. Miss Bhumika, Narendra, Dhwani Modak, all of you are correct children, because we have to see business participation decision is happening. So either of the condition is being met, then yes, ma'am, it will be an associate company. Or if I say ABC Limited is having a joint venture with CD Limited, then also it will be considered as an associate company. Okay, Miss Sagar, then you can still see the assignments part. I hope now you can see it clearly, child. Miss Sagar Al-Rakha. Okay, fine. Got your point. Okay, Ziba is saying 15% taken over. Then how come it is associate? Because we are having participation in business decisions. So ये चीज आपने second line भी ध्यान से पढ़नी है, that either you have 20% shareholding or you are participating in business decisions. Now, Mr. Kunal Jain, your query, ma'am, what is the meaning of fiduciary company? So if you have read in the study material, there is a small amendment written which came in 2014, which says that if these two companies are standing in fiduciary capacity, then it will not be an associate company. How come this happens? What is the meaning of fiduciary relationship? Fiduciary relationship means that if I am having a relationship of trust and beneficiary, then I am working for the benefit of another person. In such a case, they are not part of an associate company. Those who are asking, ma'am, where it is written, I will just show you in the study material. So associate company, we simply have to remember the companies which have 20% shareholding or the participation in business and management, then yes, ma'am, it is an associate company. But what is the difference of associate company with fiduciary relationship? Let us see in the study material. So this public company, private company, small company, I hope you have made your flow charts. Small company, we always have to remember it is a private company. It is not a public company, okay? Also, it is not holding in subsidiary. Section 8 is not applicable to them. All these points you should make in a flow chart. So holding subsidiary, we have already discussed. Here is the point of fiduciary company. It says Ministry of Company Affairs has clarified that if you are holding the shares in another company in a fiduciary capacity, then it will not be counted as a relationship of associate company. So if I tell you that ABC Limited is holding the share capital in CD Limited as a relationship of trust and beneficiary, you must have done this trust and beneficiary when you were doing contract act also. Sometimes we open up a trustee for the funds, so that, say, for example, a father has opened up a trust that after my death, this company should be giving the profits to my son. So if such a kind of relationship is existing between those companies, then it will not be considered as an associate company. Simple. This example also we did last time. So I hope now associate companies is absolutely clear. Let us move ahead in this. There's another amendment which came in listed companies. Let us now read on the basis of capital. So on the basis of access to capital, there are certain companies, children, you must have heard about trading happening on the stock exchange. I have seen students also sometimes when they start doing some side business along with their studies, they are very fond of investing money. So when you invest money, you buy securities or shares of certain companies, and then you try to sell those shares as and when the prices, variation in the prices is happening. So you will study about all these kind of FEMA regulations, how the foreign exchange work, how the listing of the securities happens when you go in CA Inter and CA Final. But as of now, you should have a basic information about in a type of companies, that there are certain type of companies which are known as listed companies. These are the companies, children, where the securities are listed on the recognized stock exchange. So you have your securities which are listed on the recognized stock exchange. All the companies whose shares are, for example, Reliance, जिसकी securities stock exchange पे listing है, जिसमें आप trading कर सकते हैं, तो उस company को हम listed company कहते हैं. Such companies which have listed or intend to list such securities in consultation with Securities and Exchange Board shall not be considered as listed companies. वो कहते हैं if you have listed or you intend to list, So for the section of this particular 2020-21 amendment that came is that such class of companies which have already listed or they want to list the securities, they shall not be considered listed companies if you are in consultation with Securities and Exchange Board. So that means Securities and Exchange Board consultation and their powers have to be exercised whenever we have to see whether it's a company are listed or it's an unlisted company. And any company whose securities are not listed will be simply discussed as the unlisted company. Now you will ask me, ma'am, what is the meaning of securities? So securities which have to be seen listed on the stock exchange are those which are defined in the Securities Contract Regulation. इतना ही बस हमने याद रखना है. उसमें कौन कौन सी सिक्योरिटीज दी हुई है सिक्योरिटीज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रेगुलेशन एक्ट. यू डोंट हैव टू गो outside your study material and search for that. You simply have to remember listed companies whose securities are listed on recognized stock exchange. 2021 amendment says if you are in consultation with SEBI, SEBI is Security and Exchange Board, then you will not be considered as listed companies unless and until you have fulfilled the requirements given by the SEBI board. Where is the securities word defined? It is defined in the Securities Contract Regulation Act. And another important point is the company and stock exchange signs a listing agreement. Whenever you want to trade yourself in the capital market, you have to sign, or your company should sign a listing agreement with the stock exchange. And all the companies whose securities are not listed, simply known as the unlisted company. After that, a very important definition is government company. Now children, government company नाम से बता रही है, अगर government आपकी company में share holding रखता है, then it is known as a government company. So if 51% of the share capital, how much did I say? 51%. A company in which not less than 51 means 51% or more. So if I say if central government is holding 50% of the share capital in my company, then do I become a government company? Your answer will be no, ma'am. The shareholding should be 51% or more, not 50%. 50% किसमें थी? Holding and subsidiary 50% check करना है. Associate company 20% check करना है. Government company 51% should be checked. Now it says 51% holding either by the central government or by the state government. What is the state government? Every state has their own respective organizations, governments which are controlling their regulations. Central government is your supreme power. Everything is being controlled. So either central government is holding the share capital or your respective state government is holding, or partly by the central or partly by the state government. Then such company is known as a government company. So if I tell my children that, I have a company ABC Limited, in which central government is having his share of 25% and state government is holding 35% shares. Does ABC Limited becomes a government company? Yes or no? Will ABC Limited declared as a government company if central government is holding 25% share capital in ABC Limited and state government is holding 35% share capital in ABC Limited? Will it become a government company? Yes or no? Sameer Singh is asking how to become broker in SEBI. Sameer Singh, company law बेटा syllabus बहुत ज़्यादा ये खत्म कर लो, फिर decide करेंगे broker कैसे बनना है. Excellent, Pranav, Harshit, Himanshu, P. Vishnu, Tejashri, Raghav, M. Gauda, Sakshi, Gunshita, Shruti, Syed, Majid, Ekta, Dhwani, Shrindi, Aarti, Mondal, Ustad, Priyanka. Yes, ma'am, because it is partly held by central government and partly by state government. The holding is more than 51% by government. Therefore, it becomes a government company. What if both of them would have been holding 25% and 25%? Then they would have been only 50% shareholding. Then your answer would have been no. Okay, very good. All of you have. Yes, Kunal Jain, 60%. That's why it is correct. Absolutely correct. Saima, Divesh, P. Vishnu, Gunjan Devi, Swati Giri. Yes, it's a government company. Okay. Yes, Mr. Soham Patyal, definitely. Avinash, everyone is right. Mr. Parth, Bhumika, Hatia, Parnita, all of you are correct, children. Okay. Clear ho gaya sabko? Government company, foreign company. Those who are asking, ma'am, listed company, you only have to remember the information that we have discussed. That's it. Don't go outside that. Okay. Foreign company, foreign, because we have section 8 companies, which is very, very important, and examiner gives you questions out of that as well. Foreign company is a company which is incorporated outside India. अब आप एक human being है. Let's take the name of Miss Masoom. Good morning, Miss Masoom. So Miss Masoom, I think I have taken her name earlier also. So Mr. Sameer Singh. Mr. Sameer Singh wants to set up a company outside India. So Mr. Sameer Singh has set up a company in States. So he went to USA and he has set up a company over there. Now he's an Indian citizen and he has set up a company abroad, but he has also opened a place of business in India where either himself or he has kept an agent. Who will be his agent? Abhinav Kumar. Abhinav Kumar उसका agent है. Okay, Abhinav Kumar हम हिंदी में भी समझा रहे हैं. Both languages will be used. So, कौन था? किसने company खोली थी? Sameer Singh has opened a company in USA and he has also opened a place of business. It was an electronic business. He is doing the business of electronics in USA and the same place in India also. He's having the business place in India. In Delhi, he has opened the office where he's working through his agent, Abhinav Kumar. Or electronically. आजकल ऑनलाइन मोड. अभी आप कैसे पढ़ रहे हो मेरे से? फिजिकली पढ़ रहे हो, इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली पढ़ रहे हो? तो ऑनलाइन पढ़ रहे हो ना. So it's an high-tech society nowadays. So we can open up a place of business also online mode, electronic mode. And he is doing business activity in India in that manner. This Abhinav Kumar is doing the same electronics business in relation to that company which is set up in USA. Can we say this company in USA which is named as ABC Private Limited, is it a government, is it a foreign company or an Indian company? Answer me. Sameer has set up a company on business of electronics in USA and he is having a place of business in India in Delhi, which is being run through Mr. Abhinav Kumar and he is conducting the business activity. ये नहीं कि वो सिर्फ company खोलने के लिए रखी है, and he is conducting the business activity in that as well. So, can we say that ABC Private Limited is a foreign company? Yes or no? Miss Shivangi Bin, we just now clarified that please check it. Maybe the partnership notes have gone in the assignment topic. So there are two things, notes and assignment. If you cannot find out in notes, at times they have jumped into the assignment section. Please check it there. It will be definitely visible. All right. Sudhanshu, Manvi, Priyanka, Kunal, MD, Sakshi, Syed, M. Gauda, Himanshu, all of you are correct. Yes, ma'am, it is a foreign company. Definitely, Keshav, those are good examples of government company. Chirindi, that's great. It's a foreign company. Absolutely correct. It's a foreign company as the main branch is located in USA and we are doing the functioning in India. Raghav, Faizan, Jia, P. Vishnu, Yashika, Masoom, all of you are correct. Very good, children. So this is how you have to study. You have to create examples and it becomes very important and easy for you to remember. समझ आ गया सबको foreign company. अब जल्दी जल्दी करते हैं section 8 companies because we have lots and lots to complete. अब section 8 companies अगर आप पुरानी books देखेंगे 1956 में they were known as section 25 companies. These are the companies which are opened with a charitable object. जैसे आपके non-profit organizations होते हैं just to promote certain kind of art, sports, culture, education, social welfare, religion, charity को promote करने के लिए people come together. Say for example, Mr. Surya Kumar and Subhashri and Surya Kumar and Harleen ma'am, they got together that let's open up a company to promote sports for children. So Surya Kumar invested money, Subhashri and I myself invested money. So if we want to open a charitable objective of promoting sports, we will open up section 8 companies. Now, what will three of us do? We have to apply the profits of this company only and only for promoting sports, and we will not pay any dividend to the members. Section 8 companies will not pay any dividend. Dividend क्या होता है? आपने कंपनी में शेयर्स लिए, उस शेयर्स पे जो आपको रिटर्न मिलती है, that is known as dividend. When you invest money in FDs, you get interest. When you invest money in shares, you get dividend. Dividend is the return given on the investment made in shares. But do Section 8 companies pay dividend? No, ma'am. Section 8 companies do not pay dividend to its members. So now three of us, kya naam tha? Sudhashri and Surya Kumar, Subhashri and Harleen ma'am, they have opened up the company and now they will only use the profits of the company for promoting sports. So we decided that we will make people come and participate in the footballs and other games. So now we will, for this welfare of this academy, sports academy that we have opened, we will be just using the profits for that activity and we will not be paying any dividend to its members. We will not be doing any commercial kind of business. Then only we can open up a Section 8 companies. It has to be a charitable company. We are doing a kind of charity. It is a non-profit organization kind of thing. And we will not indulge into commercial transactions and take home the profits. Such companies are FICCI, SOCHAM, National Sports Club of India, CII. So all these kind of federations, institutions, industries, they are only working for the promotion and welfare of society. समझ आ गया? ये तो मीनिंग हो गया. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ सेक्शन 8 कंपनीज एंड एग्जांपल्स. अगर आपको एग्जामिनर 2 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन देता है, आपने सिंपल ये डेफिनेशन लिखनी है और एग्जांपल्स लिखनी. अगर आपसे एग्जामिनर पूछता है हाउ सेक्शन 8 कंपनीज आर सेट अप, so this is the answer of how do you form the section 8 companies, what are the formalities that needs to be fulfilled. It is not very easy to open section 8 companies. Central government's approval is required, children. You are not using the word limited or private limited. It's not that you and me decided to open a company and we went to the registrar, filed the documents. We need a license from central government. Do you need a license from central government to open any other private limited company? The answer is no. But for Section 8 companies, please mark down the most important point. Section 8 companies allows the central government to register the persons with limited liability without the word limited or private limited. Means their liability is unlimited. And central government issues a license. अपनी language में लिख देना. We need to take the license from central government in order to open up a Section 8 company. ठीक है, इस पॉइंट का सिंपल लैंग्वेज है ताकि नीड द अप्रूवल ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. Central government will see whether you are eligible to open Section 8 companies. If central government does not issue a license, then you cannot open a Section 8 company. समझ आ गया? Second point, registrar on the application will register such persons. And एक important point हमें क्या पढ़ा? Without the words limited and private limited. So आपने देखा यहाँ पे FICCI, SOCHAM. I'm not using the word limited and private limited. So Section 8 companies do not have the words. Point number 2 आप लिखेंगे अपने notes में. Section 8 companies do not use the words limited or private limited with its name. Point number 3, registrar on application will register such persons or association of persons. So आ गया ना आपका AOP, association of persons, where people just get together to form a company for a charitable kind of purpose. So here association of persons means 2-3 लोग इकट्ठे हुए and उन्होंने जाके सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से अप्रूवल लिया, सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिखाएंगे एंड रजिस्ट्रार के पास एप्लीकेशन फाइल कर कर अपने आप को सेक्शन 8 कंपनी की तरह ओपन करवाएंगे. एंड ऑन रजिस्ट्रेशन, जब इसकी रजिस्ट्रेशन हो जाएगी, सेक्शन 8 कंपनीज गेट द सेम प्रिविलेजेस एंड ऑब्लिगेशंस एज इफ इट इज अ लिमिटेड कंपनी. यू आर नॉट यूजिंग द वर्ड्स लिमिटेड और प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, but it is a company with limited liability. I'm sorry, it's not unlimited liability. Section 8 company is a company with limited liability. So 3 points. Number 1, central government gives the approval. Number 2, we do not use the word limited and private limited. Number 3, Section 8 companies are always limited liability. So their liability is limited to the company's assets and whatever fees and donation they have collected, their liability is only limited to that extent. Companies limited by guarantee, I told you, they are generally charitable companies. Now, second point is regarding revocation of license. अब ये 2 points बहुत important है. Now we just learned number 1 points for how to open the company. Central government's approval and license is required. Registrar applications has to be filed. Now this paragraph talks about cancellation of the license. Central government ने license दे तो दिया, but अगर आप violate करोगे provisions को, if you'll contravene the requirements, if you'll not fulfill the requirements of this section, then he can even cancel your license. Central government may by order revoke the license. Revoke का मतलब इंग्लिश में होता है simple meaning cancel. आपका लाइसेंस कैंसिल कर देगा अगर आप कॉन्ट्रावेन्स करते हो. कॉन्ट्रावेन्स मीन्स नॉट फुलफिलिंग. If you do not fulfill the provisions of this section, then central government simply will cancel your license. And what will he do? He will add the word limited or private limited with your name. क्या करेगा वो? अगर आप कोई भी फ्रॉडुलेंट काम कर रहे हो, सपोज आपने कंपनी खोली, अभी शुरू में कोई पूछ रहा था मैम अगर हम इलीगल बिजनेस करते हैं, ड्रग्स का बिजनेस करते हैं, सो आपने सेक्शन 8 कंपनी ले ली एंड आप फ्रॉड कर रहे हो, चीट कर रहे हो. आपने स्पोर्ट्स के लिए कंपनी खोली थी प्रमोट करने के लिए, बट अब आप कमर्शियल ट्रांजेक्शन्स कर रहे हो. आपने स्पोर्ट्स की सपोज आप प्रमोट कर रहे थे फुटबॉल, नाउ यू हैव स्टार्टेड सेलिंग द किट्स ऑफ फुटबॉल. Now you have started selling other kind of materials which is required for this by a sports person. So you have converted into a commercial kind of business. No, you are not doing any charity. You are doing commercial business. You are violating the provisions of Section 8 companies. Law will say, central government will immediately cancel your license. He will say that this is not in the public interest. You said that you are for charitable. You are not doing any charity. And on such revocation, registrar will say either you become a public limited company or the word private limited in the company's name in the register will be added. But before such revocation, please send a notice in writing that we are going to revoke your license and an opportunity of being heard will be given. So if any company is trying to do wrong thing, before cancelling the license, the registrar, central government will send the written notice. एक चिट्ठी आएगी आपको कि देखिए आप ये गलती कर रहे हैं, आपका लाइसेंस रिवोक कर दिया जाएगा, आप आकर अपनी पेशी दीजिए. अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड का मतलब होता है सामने आकर बताइए क्या प्रॉब्लम है, आप क्यों नहीं हमारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स फुलफिल कर. हिंदी स्टूडेंट्स अंडरस्टूड क्लियरली नाउ? So समझ आ गया? Cancellation of license. If you are not fulfilling the requirements, the central government can cancel your license. And point number 2, before cancelling, he will send you a written notice and you will be asked to present the matter in front of him. The third paragraph talks about the order of central government. Now, what order he is going to pass? He will pass the order that since in the public interest, company register should be amalgamated with any other company having similar objects and form up a single company. He will say either or you will wind up yourself. So say for example, ABC is a company which is Section 8 company and ABC company is violating the provisions. So central government will come and cancel your license and then central government will pass the order that look ABC, either you merge yourself. Amalgamate का मतलब होता है children, to merge yourself. किसी और कंपनी के साथ जाकर मर्ज हो जाना, मिल जाओ. कि आप अपना ये सेक्शन 8 कंपनी को छोड़ दो और अगर कोई और कंपनी है जो कि सेम बिजनेस, सिमिलर ऑब्जेक्टिव, स्पोर्ट्स का बिजनेस कर रही है, आप उसके साथ जाकर मर्ज हो जाओ. वी डोंट हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम, बट यू विल नॉट बी नो लॉन्गर बी अ सेक्शन 8 कंपनी. सो कोर्ट क्या ऑर्डर पास करेगा, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट क्या ऑर्डर पास करेगा? एक तो वो कहते हैं यू कैन ईदर मर्ज योरसेल्फ विद अनदर कंपनी और यू शुड बाइंड योरसेल्फ अप. बाइंडिंग अप मींस क्लोज द कंपनी. यू कैन नॉट डू द सेम बिजनेस. So the two orders of central government can be, number 1, either you amalgamate or merge yourself with another company which has similar objects, or the company should be winded up. Company should go into be wound up. And this fourth paragraph talks about the penalties and punishments. अब क्या punishment मिलेगी? बहुत harsh punishments मिलती हैं. UK, it's not easy to open Section 8 companies. Why? Because government is involved here. Central government is giving you approval. You're saying that we are working for the welfare of society, then please be on that. Don't try to indulge into commercial transactions after opening Section 8 companies. So bold mein diya hua hai because it is again an amendment which came in 2021. It says if company makes any default in complying with this section, then he shall be punishable with a fine which is not less than 10 lakh rupees. My God, look at the amount of fine. 10 lakh rupees and it may extend up till 1 crore rupees. So this ABC company, Section 8 company, which has been opened for promoting sports welfare, now he's not fulfilling the requirements, then government can impose a fine of 10 lakhs and above and up till 1 crore rupees. And whosoever is the director and officer of this company, they shall be punishable with a fine of more than 25,000 rupees. And it can extend to 25 lakh rupees also. Ma'am, do we need to learn these figures? Yes, you only have 1 or 2 points where the fines are given. लिख लो, याद हो जाएगा. Don't worry. And same figures हैं आगे वाले points में. So company is liable for the fine of 10 lakh till 1 crore rupees, and the directors are liable for the fine of 20,000 and up till 25 lakh rupees. 447 will tell you how the officers shall be liable for action. So 447 part of your CA inter syllabus. When you go there, you will read about it. As of now, simply remember which section mentions about the violation. 447 will tell you how the action will be taken against such kind of violations. समझ आ गया बच्चे? तो this is just summary which they have given. Companies are formed for commerce, art, religion. हमने sports का example लिया. It can be formed for promoting any sports, for any science work, for any art and culture. You want to do promotion of artwork, you can also open up Section 8 companies. For any protection of environment nowadays. पेड़ लगाओ, environment friendly, all this kind of people have become स्वच्छ भारत. पता है ना आपको कितना ज्यादा हम अपने indulge हो रहे हैं just to save our environment. So in protection of environment also, tomorrow when you become chartered accountants, feel free to open up Section 8 companies. But remember, you have to take the approval of central government. Central government will give you the license, and the moment you try to revoke the provisions, your license will get cancelled. What happens on cancellation? Either you get yourself converted, you change your name, you will be either ABC Limited or ABC Private Limited, or you simply wind yourself up. Winding up means close your company. Otherwise, you don't use these words, and you can adopt any suitable words such as a club, chambers of commerce. All these are kind of Section 8 companies. Special license is given. You don't declare dividend to the members. Profits shall be used for the promotion of your object, and there is no requirement of minimum share capital. Amalgamation wala point समझ आ गया. So Section 8 companies, whenever they want to call the general meeting, they can give the notice of 14 days notice instead of 21 days. Now, why they have said instead of 21 days? Again, when my students will go and see a inter, we are just doing the basic information about companies today. Maybe in your BCom, BBA, you would have read about meetings, how the company hold their meetings, how the directors are appointed. So in that, you will read whenever the company is calling the general meeting, 21 days notice is given. But for Section 8 companies, what is the time period? 41 days is given for the Section 8 companies. No minimum requirement of directors and independent directors is there. You need not constitute any communication or remuneration committee. No such formalities are required. So what more no formalities? No directors or the number of directors restriction is there, and no committees are required for the Section 8 companies. Important point क्या है? एक partnership firm भी Section 8 company की member हो सकती है. Yes, ma'am. A partnership firm can also be a member in Section 8 company. So I told you, firm is not an artificial legal person. They don't have their own existence. Firm cannot be a member in a company. But in Section 8 companies, you can have the partnership firm also as a member. So if I want to open Section 8 company, which is the name of ABC company is my Section 8 company, then A is a member in this company, B is a member in this company. And if CD Associates, a partnership firm wants to be a member, then CD Associates can also be a member in my Section 8 company. समझ आ गया? इसको आज ही आप पढ़ेंगे और लर्न करेंगे. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर है ये, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. सेक्शन 8 कंपनीज में से जनरली क्वेश्चन आ जाता है एंड केस स्टडी बेस्ड आता है. सो यू हैव टू लर्न ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स. ओके, सी स्टडी मटेरियल हैज गिवन सच अ नाइस फ्लो चार्ट आल्सो फॉर यू. Again, they have defined it in the form of flowchart, application of profits. It is a limited liability company. So if I ask you, Section 8 companies have unlimited liability, yes or no? जल्दी बताओ फटाफट से. Yes, Vivek Kumar, that is again a good example. Manvi Khanna, it can be a public or private company. When you talk about foreign company, the only thing is place of business should be there in India. Yes, Raghav Shah, it can be given as an example of Section 8 companies. Mr. Abdul, if you list your securities, then it becomes listed companies. Charitable companies are not doing any commercial transactions. They're only for promotion of charity and welfare. Yes, Kirti, that's correct. So, Manvi Khanna, this is the same question that I've asked all of you. If I say Section 8 companies have unlimited liability, Sakshi, Manvi, Sayed, Ronit, no ma'am, it's a limited liability company. Excellent children, that means you have listened it very nicely and carefully. Good. No, Mr. MD, there is no trading part in this chapter. You don't have to learn that. Very good, Sakshi, Swati Giri, Kirti, Rohini, Gunchita, Tanishka, Ronit, Tejashri, Ekta, Divesh, Arshdeep, Shruti, Madiha Khan, Saima, Pranav, Parnita, all of you are correct, children. Very good. Now let's come to another kind of company, that is dormant company. The companies which have been formed and registered for a future project, or they are holding the assets but have no significant accounting transactions. अब इसको हम कैसे learn करेंगे? इसको हम points पे learn करेंगे. So number one point, a company which is formed and registered. So ma'am, is it a company which is registered? Remember, incorporated and unincorporated. It is not unincorporated. It is formed and registered. So my friends form a company, ABC Private Limited. हम 3 friends मिले, Mr. A, B and C, and we thought let's form a company, ABC Private Limited. For what purpose? For a future project. हमने सोचा अगले साल हम एक प्रोजेक्ट शुरू करेंगे, उसके लिए हम आज एक कंपनी बना के रख लेते हैं. So ABC met on a table of a cup of coffee and they said, you know, Harleen ma'am has taught us about registration of company. It requires huge formalities to be fulfilled. So although our project is starting after 2 years, so why don't let's open up a company today only. So हम आज ही कंपनी खोल कर रख लेते हैं बिकॉज बड़ी सारी फॉर्मेलिटीज है रजिस्ट्रेशन में. सो ABC Limited went for to the registrar, they filed all the application and documents, and for the future project they opened this company. Or we are holding the assets and intellectual properties, assets वगैरह लेकर रखिए, कंपनी खोल के रखिए. Point number 3, we don't have any significant accounting transactions. चुपचाप हमने कंपनी खोल के रख दी कि 2 साल बाद ये प्रोजेक्ट शुरू करेंगे. बट आर वी डूइंग एनी सेल परचेज? आर वी मेकिंग एनी एंट्रीज? आर वी पेइंग एनी रेंट रिकॉर्ड्स? आर वी मेंटेनिंग एनी डेप्रिसिएशन रिकॉर्ड्स? नो, वी आर नॉट डूइंग एनी काइंड ऑफ अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजैक्शंस. Such a company is an inactive company. Make an application to the registrar and you can obtain the status of dormant company. So any company which has not made any significant accounting transactions, significant accounting transactions का मतलब क्या होता है? कोई भी recording and classification of accounts नहीं करा हमने, journal entries नहीं pass करी, कोई sale purchase नहीं करा, कोई भी transactions हम नहीं कर. For the last 2 financial years, तो point number 4 है for the last 2 financial years. Or point number 5, we have not filed our financial statements. हमने कोई profit and loss account ही नहीं बनाया, हमने कोई balance sheet ही नहीं बनाई for last 2 financial years. We have not filed our annual return. Then it will be treated as an inactive company. Registrar will make an application and give us the status of dormant company. So what are the 5 points to remember? We opened up a company, incorporated it, number 1. Number 2, for a future project. Number 3, we are not doing any significant accounting transactions from last 2 financial years. Number 4, we have not filed any application, financial statements and annual returns for last 2 financial year. Number 5, it will be declared as an inactive company and registrar will give us the status of dormant company. Now, examiner will ask you, can you please tell me what is the meaning of significant accounting transactions in order to get dormant company status under section 455? So my dear students will say, ma'am, what is the meaning of significant accounting transaction? So you will say any transactions other than these transactions. मतलब ये transactions 4 अगर आप कर रहे हो, then it's okay. Any transactions other than these 4 are considered to be significant accounting transactions. So if you're just making the payment of fees to the registrar, it doesn't mean you're doing any transactions. If you are making the payment to fulfill the requirements of this act, if you have allotment of the shares has been done, your payment of maintenance for the office and records, then this will not be considered as significant accounting transactions. Law says if you're doing, if I ask you, okay, let me ask you a question. There is a company PQR Limited. ध्यान से सुन लो. There is a company PQR Limited. It was incorporated in the year 2019. Until date 2020-22, it has not done any kind of accounting transactions. But this company has allotted the shares to fulfill the requirement and has made the payment of fees to the registrar on time. Will it be considered as a dormant company? Yes or no? Balasajan Lakshmi, I'll try to do as much as possible. The only problem is that we have restricted 3 classes for Companies Act, and I have to finish off the syllabus also, and along with that, your queries also. So still, I'll try my best to solve the question paper, and few questions will be taught to you after the break as well. Okay. Bhavna Patel, that was correct. Okay, now tell me, children. So PQR Limited opened in 2019 for a future project. 2020, 20, 21, 22, it's been 3 years. We are not doing any financial accounting transactions. We have not prepared the financial statements, but we have been making the payment of fees to the registrar. We have allotted the shares. We have maintained the office records. So can I say that it's a dormant company? Manvi, Sakshi, Sayyed are correct. Shrindi are wrong. Gunshita is correct. Khushi, Madiha, Shivani are wrong. Shruti is wrong. All those who have said, all right. So I said whether you will declare it as a dominant company. So the answer should be yes, ma'am, it becomes a dominant company. So I think this is Harshit Bhutani has clearly written it. So then it makes sense. Yes, ma'am, it's a dominant company as per section 445. Absolutely correct. So all these names, you are correct, children. Ishan is correct. MD is correct. Shrindi is correct. So all the no's are incorrect. Okay. So Madiha, Shivani, Shruti, Sudhanshu, Ankur, Pratindya, Saima, Vivek, Atri, Mondal, Pranav, all of you are correct, children. Yes, ma'am, it will become dominant company. So Miss Vagdevi, thank you so much for writing this incorrect answer. She says, no, ma'am, it will not be considered as dominant because it is doing significant transactions. So यही समझाने के लिए मैंने ये point उठाया था. The transactions that are mentioned are not the significant accounting transactions. So if you're doing these 4 transactions, but you are not doing any other transactions, then you will be considered as dormant company. Very good, Lakshita, Keshav, Arisha, Az, Bhumika, very nice. All of you are correct. Ziba, Vipul, Rohini, Sagar, Faizan, Sakaldeep, everyone is correct. Okay. Yes, Yash Gupta, correct, children. Correct. Good. Sudhanshu Shekhar, that's correct. Mohammed, Swati Giri, all of you are correct. समझ गए children, dominant company. फटाफट से last company करो and then we come to the chapters. Nidhi companies, very simple, children. Nidhi companies are the companies which have been opened for the mutual benefit society. फटाफट से इसका example समझ लेते हैं. Mr. Mohammed and Miss Manvi, they said that, ma'am, let's open up a company with you. And Manvi, Mohammed and Haleen, ma'am, they got together and they opened up a Nidhi company. Now, what is the purpose of Nidhi company? This is the company which is just opened to indulge the habit of savings among the people. So Manvi and Mohammed and Haleen were not in a habit of saving their money. So I gave them an idea, let's open up a Nidhi company. What will happen? We will contribute our savings. We will keep it as a funds. As and when we have a requirement, we'll take out the money and utilize it for our general welfare. So this kind of formation where people are just coming together and investing their savings and utilizing it as and when it is required is known as Nidhi company, or it is known as mutual benefit company. Thank you so much, Miss Pooja Verma. I'm glad you're liking my teaching and impressed by that. Thank you so much. And I feel super glad when students find the subject easy just because we are doing it with examples. So good luck. Thank you. समझ गए? So निधि कंपनीज बहुत ज्यादा टफ नहीं है, सिंपल है. इसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट दोबारा इन्वॉल्व है. तो इससे पहले कहाँ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इन्वॉल्व थी? सेक्शन 8 कंपनीज में आपको सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से अप्रूवल लेनी पड़ती है. निधि कंपनी इज ऑल्सो अ कंपनी इन विच द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट by its notification will declare to you as a Nidhi or mutual benefit company. What you have to remember, these are the companies which are just to encourage savings among people. People will come together, they will invest their funds, and as and when there's a requirement, they will use these funds for their benefits, mutual benefits. What are public financial institutions? Day one, when we discussed the definition, applicability of Companies Act, I told you Companies Act is applicable to all the companies formed under Life Insurance Corporation Act, companies which are formed under UTI, Unit Trust of India. All these are the companies which are known as public financial institutions, and Companies Act is also applicable to them. The only places where there is a conflict between Companies Act and the respective act, in that case, your respective act will overrule and we have to follow those kind of conditions. So any institution which has been established under central or state act and 51% of the share capital is controlled by central or state government or partly by central and state, they will be notified as the public financial institutions. Public financial institutions वो institutions होते हैं जहाँ पे आप kind of a banking transaction कर रहे हो, but it is not a banking transaction. It is not a banking company. All the financial transaction, lending, borrowing is happening. Insurance coverage is being provided. Unit Trust of India is another example of public financial institutions. All these institutions which have been notified, some institutions which have been notified by Reserve Bank of India. So you have opened up an institute, government, central government approval has been taken, RBI has notified, and you are into lending and borrowing of money. It can be considered as the public financial institutions. Government is holding stake in your company. Okay. No institution shall be so notified unless, number one, it has to be formed under the Central or State Act or under the previous company law, and central and state government should be holding the share in public financial institutions. Clear ho gaya, children? I'll show you the entire information from my presentation as well. So you can say this National Stock Exchange where all the securities are listed. They are known as listed companies. But remember, Security and Exchange Board amendment that we just discussed. Government companies, government ke involvement honi chahiye. Foreign companies we have discussed, charitable, all these examples have been given. And you can just refer to these examples from my presentation. See, this is the company which central government will notify. And any company which no business is being done is for your dominant company. So now we will be starting with another presentation. So both the PPTs will be available for your reference on that admin portal where you refer to the PPTs. So this is the second one. Where is the second PPT? All right. Let us proceed with one more topic and then we'll take the break. Is it the same one? No. So we have already discussed all these 3 points: corporate wealth theory, classes of companies. Now we'll be talking on memorandum and shares and about the registration of company. Balasajan Lakshmi, now your turn has come to pay attention. Yes, Raghav Shah, they will be considered as Nidhi company. Harshad, that's correct. The self-help groups which we have formed, if we have taken the notification from central government, then it has to be done. Okay. Now let's discuss examination question papers, children. It's very important. Okay, no problem, Ms. Vagdevi. Reverse holding. Yes, Mr. Saurabh, that's correct. Public financial institutions, no, Prakhar Srivastav. Public financial institutions are different from the Nidhi companies. Nidhi companies are just for the mutual benefit society, and public financial for those like LIC and UTI. Okay. Okay, now Fatafat se read this question in front of you in the screen. All of you have to read it carefully and you have to send me the answers. This is examination paper that I promised to discuss with you, and after that we will complete the syllabus. Yes, Keshav Thakur, government intervention has to be there in public financial institutions. That's correct. Yes, Kunal Jain, that's correct. Dormant and inactive companies will be same. Miss Saima, dormant companies are the companies which are not doing any kind of business from last 2 financial years. You have not filed your annual returns. You have not done any significant accounting transactions. Then you get the status of dormant company. And public financial institutions are the institutions where the government stake is involved. 51% of the shareholding is central and state government both. And they have been notified by the central government that yes, you can open up a company and you can deal into the financial institutions like LIC kind of thing and your UTI, Unit Trust of India, all these are the public financial institutions. Mr. Rabish Chaudhary, INR is your Indian rupees. What are you asking about that? Okay, clear ho gaya? So I hope you all have INR, okay, rupees, child. Indian rupees. He's asking in this question. All right. So Popular Product Limited is a company which was incorporated in India and it's having a total share capital of rupees 20 crore. Now, how the share capital is divided? It is equity shares of rupees 100 each, 12 lakh equity shares, okay, and 8 lakh preference shares. So how this 20 crore is divided is 12 lakh is your equity shares. So I'm having 12 crore of equity capital plus 8 crore is my preference share capital. So the total share capital is 20 crores. Delight Product and Happy Product are holding 2,50,000 and 3,50,000 in Popular Product Limited. All right. So 2,50,000 they have held and 3,50,000 respectively. Another company, Cheerful Product Limited, is holding 2,50,000 shares in Popular Product. So in Popular Product, the total share capital is 20 crore. 2,50,000 is being held by Delight. 3,50,000 is held by Happy Product. So please calculate the percentages. Keep calculating the percentages. So out of this figure of 20 lakhs, he's holding 2,50,000, one is holding 3,50,000, and Cheerful is holding 2,50,000. And Jovial Limited is the holding company of all of these. So all these Delight, Happy, and Cheerful are being held by Jovial Limited. Can Jovial Limited be termed as subsidiary company of Popular Product Limited if he is controlling the composition of board of directors? Please state the related provision in the favor of your answer. No one will cheat the answers and will try to tell the answers on their own. Rabish Chaudhary, I hope now it's clear. Okay. Please tell me the answers. What are the answers for this one? Can we say that Jovial Limited is the subsidiary of Popular Product Limited? Popular Product is having 20 crore share capital worth. And 2,50,000, 3,50,000 and 2,50,000. So this is the amount of share capital which is being held by few companies which are subsidiary of Jovial Limited. So now can you say that Jovial Limited is also a subsidiary of Popular Product? If it's controlling the board of directors, what will happen in this case? Let me see how well you can apply your brains. And I am trusting all of you that you're not looking into the answers. See, this is the reason why I don't upload the PPTs before. If I'll upload, you will get to know all the answers. So who has given the answer? Raghav Shah is saying, yes, it will be subsidiary. Kunal says, yes, it will be subsidiary if you're controlling composition of board of directors. Very good. Gunjan Devi saying, yes, ma'am, it will be subsidiary. Excellent, Miss Masoom. No, ma'am, Jovial cannot be termed as subsidiary because he is holding the shares. It will be a holding company. What happened, children? Those who have written, yes, ma'am, absolutely wrong. You have annoyed me by writing wrong answer. Very bad. So Harshit Bhutani has given an absolute correct answer. Ma'am, as per section 2, subsection 46. I am impressed with your sections. You're learning the sections, great. Jovial will be a holding company as it controls the composition of board of directors and it is not a subsidiary company. Well done. Kunal Jain, again you're saying yes because it is controlling. So if you're controlling the board of directors, you become holding company. You don't become subsidiary company. This is how the examiner is going to confuse you. Bala Sajjan Lakshmi, you say yes, ma'am. So what yes, ma'am? Do you mean to say yes, Jovial is termed as subsidiary? What are you trying to tell me? Shruti Kumar, excellent. It will be a holding company. Avinash, good. Sakaldeep, good. Yash Gupta, Sameer Singh, Devesh, Bhargavi, Shivani, Kunal, all of you are correct. Now Kunal Jain, you have written it's holding. Okay, Lakshita, good. P. Vishnu, wrong. When you're controlling the board of directors, you become holding, not subsidiary. Ishan is correct. Pradeep Bhai Makrubia, correct. Arisha Nas, Sehajpreet, Sagar, Shruti, Tanishka Kumari, all of you are correct, children. Now I hope you have understood. So it will become a holding company. It is not. Yes, that's why this question was given, just to confuse you, Kunal. He's saying I got mixed up. So this is how the examiner is going to mix up you. And can you imagine 3 marks questions and so many information, so much of information has been given just to make you confuse you. Okay. Very good. Bala Sajjan Lakshmi, you have still not answered whether you are saying yes for holding or subsidiary. I don't know. Okay, now let us read how you have to write the answer. Well done, children. Now you have understood it correct. MD is correct. Isha is correct. Priyanka, Vaishnavi, Bhavna, Ekta, Madiha, Hadiya, Keshav Thakur, Faizan, all of you are correct. So how you have to write the answer? First of all, this is just information that they have given to you, that the whole of the capital that is over there is 20 crores, that is divided into equity and preference shares. Now, delight product and cheerful and happy product, they are together holding 250, 350 and 250. So that is 850,000 shares. Now, this was again a mere information which has simply been given to you. How much was the total share capital? It was 20 lakh shares. Out of 20 lakhs, children, they are holding 8.50 lakhs, 8,50,000. So tell me, let me ask you another question. Can we say that this delight, happy and cheerful product is having more than 50% of the shareholding? The answer is no. They are together holding 8,50,000. 50% would have been if they would have been holding. Yes, Lakshita, very good, correct. So if they would have been holding more than 10 lakhs of the shares, 20 lakh ka 50% kya hota hai? 10 lakhs. So they are to holding less than 10 lakh. So number one, they cannot be subsidiary because of shareholding pattern. Let us read it. Jovial Limited is holding all these companies. So Jovial Limited is together holding 8,50,000 in Popular, which is less than the 1/5 of the share capital. So by virtue of share capital, Jovial Limited is not the holding company. And secondly, Jovial controlling the board of directors, then Jovial will become holding company, not the subsidiary company. So there are 2 answers to this question. Number 1 point, on the basis of shareholding, since we are holding less than 50%, therefore by virtue of shareholding, Jovial will not become holding company. Second point he has asked, if he is controlling the board of directors, then yes, if you are controlling the composition of board of directors, then you become holding company and not subsidiary company. समझ आ गया? जो बच्चे कह रहे हैं मैम कंफ्यूज हो गए थे, कंफ्यूज होने के लिए ही दिया था, तभी आपको आएगा अच्छे से करने. Now another November 2019. Do you want to do these questions or shall we proceed further? We have syllabus also. Okay, quickly read this one and answer me. More than 10 lakhs, yes. Prakhar, if you are holding more than 50% of the shares, then you become holding. In that particular case, if you'll see the number of shares that they have given is 8,50,000. So it is less than that 50%. Okay? It is 42.5%. It's not even 50%. So that's why it cannot be a holding company. Good, Ziba Bhargavi. I'm glad you all have understood. Are you reading the second question, children? November 2019, question number 6. Assessee had large income in the form of dividend and interest. In order to reduce his income tax, he formed 4 private limiteds. Straight away case study based question they have given to you. Can you tell me A Limited will be regarded as separate entity from the private limited company? What is this question about? I want to know what is this question about and what will be your answer. Very good, Mr. Devesh. The first one to answer. Good, Kunal. I will not be reading the names of the answers now. फटाफट से मैं आपको बता देती हूँ because time कम है. So Salmon versus Salmon का reference देकर आप लिख सकते हो. Ma'am, separate legal existence was laid down in this leading case law. Although there is a corporate veil which exists between the company, but here he is asking you, is there is a separate legal entity? Is this company separate from its company? Is Mr. A shareholder separate? So you will say no. Dinshaw Manekji Petit case reference will be given. Company was not a genuine company. It has just been formed to evade the taxes. huge income by way of dividend interest that he has taken. He has opened the company and then taken away a loan from the company. Therefore, such private companies are mere sham. Mere sham means the companies which are fraudulent companies, which are not doing any business. Therefore, the corporate veil will be lifted. Hence, A and private limited company will not be treated as separate. They will be treated as one and the same. समझ आ गया? इसको आराम से शांति से आज घर में पढ़ लेना, लर्न कर लेना. टाइम कम है मेरे पास. So let's move to another topic. Let's take a small break over here. We need to take breathe also for 5 minutes breath. So let's continue after the break. Okay. Thank you. Excuse me, sir, are we connected? Are we connected? Okay, I cannot hear you back. All right. All right, students, I have just read your queries. Miss Arshdeep is saying that if I want to open Section 8 companies, is it possible to run different companies? So Section 8 company, Arshdeep, you have to remember that whenever you open such companies, central government's approval is required and it will be a limited liability company. Running different companies on a different footing, then each company will be treated as different the way it has been incorporated and registered. Mr. MD, don't worry. You will be definitely able to see the notes of Companies Acts also soon. Don't worry about that. I hope you have found the partnership notes now. They were in the assignment column. Thank you, Harshit, for confirming that. So Section 8 companies who can be merged, Ekta Tiwari, the Section 8 companies will have to get merged with those which have the similar objective. So if I have opened up a company just to promote the education for some certain purpose of, wherein I'm just having the social welfare kind of person, charitable kind of thing. There, if I have opened up such a kind of company and if I have violated any of the provisions, central government will pass the order and he will say that close this company, or you can just merge with the company which has the similar kind of objective. Thank you so much, Miss Vagdevi H. Sima. I am equally happy to have be an inspiration for you, and thank you so much. Wish you good luck as well for your exams. Miss Saima Khatoon, I wish I could. Let's see if this happens. Listed company once more in Hindi, ma'am, Mr. Abhinav Kumar. Okay. Okay, so Abhinav Kumar, listed company वो होती है जिसके शेयर स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे लिस्टेड होते हैं. तो उसके लिए हमें सिक्योरिटी एंड एक्सचेंज बोर्ड एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जिसकी रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस फॉलो करनी होती हैं. सिक्योरिटीज की डेफिनेशन भी उस एक्ट में रिस्पेक्टिवली दी गई है. आपने सिर्फ ये याद रखना है कि अगर कोई कंपनी इंटेंट करती है लिस्ट करने का और अभी लिस्ट नहीं करा है, उसको लिस्टेड कंपनीज नहीं माना जाता है उन क्लास ऑफ कंपनीज. अदरवाइज सिंपल डेफिनेशन, जिसकी सिक्योरिटीज ऑलरेडी स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे लिस्ट हो चुकी है, लिस्ट मतलब स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे एग्जिस्ट करती हैं, ट्रेडिंग कर सकते हैं हम उनमें, वो लिस्टेड कंपनीज हैं. और कंपनीज अदर देन दीज लिस्टेड कंपनीज आर नोन एज अनलिस्टेड कंपनीज. मींस जिनके शेयर्स स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे लिस्टेड नहीं है, दे विल बी अनलिस्टेड कंपनी. Yes, definitely, Ashti. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ziba. Yes, Lakshita, that time you have to remember the sections as well. Okay, Sakaldeep, we will do that example later in the class. First, let us just wind up the syllabus, why this PPT has opened up. We were on the same page, right? Incorporation of company. So now let's fatapat se understand what is the meaning of incorporation of company. I have been telling you that once you have to open up a company, you have to get it registered. So today is the day when we will be discussing how the incorporation of company happens, children. These are all the certificates that needs to be filed with ROC in order to open up a company. Memorandum and articles of association. In a short span of time, I will be teaching you about MOA and AOA. First of all, you should remember that there are people who are known as promoters. Promoters are those who have come up with the business idea. So let me take the name of few students. Miss Sagar and Sakaldeep, they want a company and they have a business idea that let's make up the, some information related to mobile phones. So they have decided that we'll be making different kind of metal and steel bodies for mobile phones. So they are unbreakable. So they have come up with a very different kind of business idea. So now they have decided to open a company. So these people, Mr. Sakaldeep and Ms. Sagar, who have come up with this business idea, they are known as promoters. So somebody who has come up with a business idea and they want to set up the company, they are known as promoters. And what will they do? They will make the MOA of the company and AOA. Memorandum of Association is a document which shows the object of the company, why it is being opened, name clause, association clause, object clause, सारा information, charter of the company बोलते हैं MOA को. And वो articles of association बनाएंगे कि Miss Sagar and Sakaldeep will sit with me and they will decide how their company should be running, how the functioning will happen. and then they will make the articles of association and they will sign this. And when these promoters will sign this, they will become subscribers to the memorandum क्योंकि इन्होंने sign करा. तो ये सारी declaration arrangements, declaration भी देंगे ये that we are not into any fraudulent kind of thing and we have been doing the business legally, and they will also be named as first directors of the company. Address where the company is going to be open and where will be the different branches, that has to be given in the documents. Particulars of every subscriber, सागर का घर का एड्रेस, सागर की इंफॉर्मेशन, एंड कौन सा सेकंड बंदा सकलदीप, उसकी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन, हाउ वेयर ही स्टेज, हाउ ही हैज बीन डूइंग, एवरीथिंग विल बी गिवन इन दिस इंफॉर्मेशन ऑफ द particulars. Particulars of the persons mentioned in articles as subscribers. So whosoever we had decided to appoint as first directors, those people who have name has been given in the articles of association, all their information has to be given. And particulars of the interest of the persons mentioned. So this is basically the documentation that he's talking about. Very important declaration is the declaration given by a CA or CS. So if I am a chartered accountant, you will also come to me that, ma'am, can you sign a declaration? So I will see all the documents are complete. Sakaldeep is also a valid person. Sagar is also a valid person. And they're opening up a valid company. So me as a chartered accountant, I will give a common seal. I will give a thappa on the sign and give my signatures. And I will see that the registration requirements are correct. So ये declaration एक CA, CS या ICWA person से भी लेनी पड़ती है, and ये खुद भी एक declaration देंगे that we have not been, convicted into jail या फिर हमने कभी कोई past में fraud नहीं करा. So all this documentation needs to be filed with ROC. ROC कौन होता है? Registrar of Companies. Registrar of Companies will see that all this documentation is correct. They will see that they have valid addresses, valid names, valid offices, and then he will give them a corporate identity number. Certificate of incorporation will be issued. And the company should maintain the documents, means company should keep this certificate of incorporation at all the places of their business. So if you go to the company, they will have this certificate of incorporation. That means it's now an incorporated company. And what happens when the company is incorporated? Company becomes different and shareholders become different. So Sakaldeep and Sagar will be different and company ABC that they have formed will be different. So certificate of incorporation, ROC will check all the information is there. He will give a corporate identity number. CIR number is known as corporate identification number, and certificate of incorporation will be given. And from that very date, if I'm giving from today, the company will set to be registered from today. So company will have limited liability and a separate legal existence. And in case they try to give me any false information, any fraudulent information, then a fraud under section 447 will be registered and penalty and actions will be taken from them. And company law tribunal will be passing the order. In case of section 8 companies, central government is passing the order. Here, who will pass the order? The law tribunal, company law tribunal को बोलते हैं NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal will pass the order that this company should either correct the information or please throw it into winding. You should close this company if any fraudulent information has been given. And nowadays, I'm telling you, electronically, everything is happening. There has been easy business doing. Simplified Performa has come up. Instead of just going to the registrar, you can simply go to Spice Plus. All the details can be filed over there and you get yourself registered online. आपको रजिस्ट्रार के ऑफिस में जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. आप ऑनलाइन एक सिंप्लीफाइड परफॉर्मा में स्पाइस प्लस करके एक फॉर्म आता है, उसमें सारी इंफॉर्मेशन भरो. एमसीए की साइट पे जाओ, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स, वहां पे ये इंफॉर्मेशन आती है. यू जस्ट हैव टू सिंपली फिल इट, क्लिक सबमिट एंड योर registration is done. And what happens after registration? You get a legal personality and it is a perpetual existence. What is the meaning of perpetual existence? If you'll see in the case laws, they have shown Jhunjhunwala case law in the study material. Read कराई देती हूँ, नहीं तो अभी जाम करोगे उसमें queries में. चलो फटाफट से देख लेते हैं. And registration कराने के लिए public company में कितने members चाहिए? We need 7 or more. Private में 2 or more. 1 person each, 1 person company. So it's a 1 member required. This is the information that I've just taught you. Declarations to be read. And now we have read till here. We will not be repeating. And this is Hari Sugar Nagar Mills versus SS Jhunjhunwala. तो बच्चे क्या मतलब होता है perpetual existence का? जल्दी बताओ मुझे. All the amendments are already included in your study material. Don't worry, Priyanka. You don't have to find any other list. Yes, Avinash, definitely correct. Perpetual means continuity. Company continues to exist. Members may come and go. Excellent. Shruti, M. Gauda, Avinash, Ishan, Ekta, all of you are correct. So फटाफट से केस लॉ देख लेते हैं. झुंझुन वाला में भी यही कहा गया था कि from the date of incorporation, company will become a legal person and company is different, shareholders are different. So it was held that it has a perpetual existence until it is dissolved. So आपने मुझे पूछा था ना शुरू में क्लास में कि मैम अगर सारे डायरेक्टर्स मर गए हैं और कंपनी फिर भी एग्जिस्ट कर रही है तो हाउ द कंपनी विल कम टू एन एंड. टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू विद द रेफरेंस ऑफ झुंझुन वाला केस दैट इन ऑर्डर टू bring the company to an end, you have to get its name struck out from the register. So you'll go to the registrar and you'll tell them please dissolve it by liquidation or strike off its name from the register. Unless and until its name is not struck off, it continues to exist forever. And shareholder buying interest in the property, shareholder's property is different and company's property is different. अपनी लैंग्वेज में इसको सिंपल लिख लेना इस लास्ट लाइन को. Company's property is different. Shareholders property is different. So बच्चा all these case laws that are given over here, डरना नहीं है इनसे बिल्कुल भी. ये सिर्फ सेक्शन 9 का ही रेप्लिकेशन है. रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ कंपनी आपको सिंपल वही बता रही है जो हम सेक्शन 9 में पढ़ चुके हैं. दैट कंपनी हैज अ सेपरेट लीगल एग्जिस्टेंस, इट बिकम आर्टिफिशियल जुडिशियल पर्सन, इट हैज परपेचुअल सक्सेशन, इट हैज लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी and it is not acting as in any agency also. Okay, we don't have agent relationship. Company is different, shareholders are different, company's property is different from the shareholders. If you'll see this heavy electric union versus state of Bihar, in this case law it was simply held that even if government is holding all of the shares in your company, then also if it becomes a government company, but it will not be your agent either of the president or central government. So कहते हैं अगर कोई ऐसी कंपनी है जिसमें all the shares are being held by other officers of central government and by the president, then also the company will still have its own legal existence. It will not be acting as an agent. It is not into the agency relationship at all. समझ आ गया मैम? हमने ये सारे केस लॉज लर्न करने हैं? बिल्कुल नहीं लर्न करने हैं नाम, बट स्टिल गिव इट अ फेयर रीडिंग. It's very simple. The meaning of these case laws is all the same. That company has a separate existence and it has perpetual existence. And this is the meaning of agent. That company is not acting as an agent of either if the government company is holding. Even if you purchase all the shares, then also the corporate character of the company still remains. Say, for example, I'm a holding company. I'm holding all the shares of ABC Limited. So ABC will be my subsidiary. Now, ABC Limited, even if it is subsidiary, it is not my agent. We are not having mutual agency relationship. It will function separately. I will function separately. Clear हो गया? Classification of capital, authorized, issued capital. फटाफट से एक लाइन में खत्म करते हैं. These are the types of capitals you have done in accounts also. In the balance sheet on the left hand side where liability are given, you have read that the classification of capital is given. Nominal is the authorized capital. This is the maximum amount of the share capital that the company can raise. हमेशा कंपनी ये वाली अमाउंट नहीं रेज करती है. ये सिर्फ एक मैक्सिमम फिगर है. सपोज आई हैव डिसाइडेड आई विल बी रेजिंग 1 crore कैपिटल फॉर माय बिजनेस. So this is further by issuing shares we decide how much money has to be raised. This is the fixed amount. It is the estimated amount that the company will need, including the working and reserve capital. So nominal amount को आपने ऐसे याद रखना है. It is the maximum amount that the company has decided to raise in its business. And issued capital is the company issuing from the time to time. So I have thrown the amount in the public that please come and subscribe my shares. Say 1 crore was the authorized capital. Now I'm going to raise the capital for rupees. How much shall we do? Let's do it for 10 lakh rupees. So 10 lakh is my issued capital. I will be raising the capital. I will be asking for the subscription. Okay. So 10 lakh is my issued capital. Let's see, the people have subscribed for the shares. People have subscribed for 8 lakh of the capital. So they have taken up 80,000 shares in my company at the rate of ₹1. So these 80,000 shares into 10, that means 8 lakh is the subscribed capital. It is the capital which has been taken up by the public. By notice, advertisements, we will invite the people to take up the share capital in the company. You know how we invite the share capital. Okay? So public will invest in your company and whatsoever the company has subscribed, the public has subscribed, becomes your subscribed capital. Now, called up capital is the capital. Remember, in share application happens, share allotment, and then first call, second call in arrears, all these things occur. So the called up capital is the capital which has been called for payment. It is the total amount called on the shares. So if 80,000 shares at the rate rupees 10, 8 lakh was my subscribed share capital. Say, for example, we have invited the public to pay for rupees 8 per share. However, paid up capital, people actually paid up only rupees 6 per share. Abhi the call in arrears hai. We have just paid rupees 6. So now this 80,000 shares into 6, that is 4,80,000 will be my actual paid up capital, the amount which has been paid up. So basically it is called up minus calls in arrears. So 2 rupees is my calls in arrears. I have invited the public to invest for 6,40,000, but actually the public has paid for 4,80,000. That is 80,000 shares at the rate of 6. So 4,80,000 will be my paid up capital. The only line to remember over here is whenever you make any investment in the company, whenever we are investing in the company, we need to see the paid up capital of the company and not authorized capital, because authorized to meri maximum limit hai na, wo to meri 1 crore thi. So you have to see how much is the paid up capital in order to decide how much capital has already been paid by the shareholders and how much is the net worth of the capital. So we always have to see the paid up capital of the company whenever we have to invest in any company. What are shares? Shares, you all know, children, share is not a sum of money. It is the interest, it is the rights taken in the contract. So if I have taken up the 2 shares in the company Reliance, so I am the 2% of the shareholder of that company. Shares can be of different types, equity shares and preference shares. So preference share capital बहुत simple है. Preference share capital वो होती है जिनको equities के ऊपर preference दी जाती है. So mother has 2 children, A and B. So I give more preference to A. So that means I'm more biased towards it. Similarly, law is more biased towards the preference shareholders. Preference shareholders are those who get preference at the time of payment of dividend. लिख लो इसको. Preference shareholders get the preference for the payment of dividend and for the repayment of capital. And for the repayment of capital. What is the meaning of payment of dividend? If company has 1 lakh rupees profit, then first dividend will be given to the preference shareholders, and if balance is left, then the equity shareholders will get the dividend. And company has balance profits of 1 lakh and the company is winding up, then first capital repayment we will do for the preference shareholders and balance is given to the equity shareholders. Equity share capital kya hote hain? Equity shares shall be numbered and they are a movable property. Just give it a reading. You should have knowledge about what are shares and how they need to be numbered. Important questions इसमें ऐसे आ सकता है. There are 2 types of share capital, with voting rights and with differential voting rights. Every equity shareholder has a voting right. If I'm holding 1 share in the company, I have 1% voting right. I just gave example. If I'm holding 2 shares in Reliance, I have 2% voting right. But sometimes people issue differential voting rights regarding dividend. For example, Tata Motors ne kya kara tha? He introduced the equity shares with differential voting right. He said if you hold 10 equity shares, that then you will get 1 voting right. But what is the benefit? You get 5% of more dividend than declared on the ordinary shareholders. So DVRs are known as differential voting rights. इसमें आपको benefit क्या मिलता है? Although तो आपको 1 equity share में 1 share holding मिलती है. Here you have to hold 10 equity shares and you get 1 voting right. You're holding 20 equity shares, you get 2 voting rights. You're holding 30 equity shares, you get 3 voting rights. So rights बड़े कम मिलते हैं, but preference over dividend मिलता है. What was the preference? 5% more dividend. So if my shareholders are getting 5,000 dividend, I will be getting 5% more. I will be getting 7,500 rupees dividend. So this is generally equity shares do not carry similar voting rights. They have different kind of voting rights. This is known as differential voting rights. Future Retail, Jam Irrigation, ये सब examples हैं in which they have differential voting rights. All right. So this is in respect of dividend and respect of capital. Preference shareholders gets the preference. They get more preference when dividends are to be paid, and whenever the capital is repaid, they are given more preference. Now let us quickly understand what is the meaning of Memorandum of Association. I told you children briefly also, memorandum is the charter of the company. It helps you to tell what is the company made up of, what are the scope, what are the powers given to the company. This is again simple information, just read it. Table A में use होता है for company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee. Table B के form में करती है. So this is the information which is given in the Schedule 1 of Companies Act. You simply have to read this information. What has to be learned over here is a company cannot depart from its objectives mentioned in the memorandum. कंपनी अपने मेमोरेंडम से बाहर जाकर कुछ नहीं कर सकती. डिपार्ट मींस इट कैन नॉट गो आउटसाइड इट्स ऑब्जेक्टिव. Any act done by the company which is not mentioned in its power, it is ultra vires. For example, if Harleen ma'am is into the business of shoes and she started taking the contracts for manufacturing of clothes. So if I am into the business of manufacturing of shoes, so my memorandum of association, you are coming and doing business with me. You're supposed to read my memorandum of association. You have read it that Harleen ma'am is into manufacturing of shoes. And tomorrow you come and make a contract with manufacturing of cloth. Can it be done? I was in greed of money. I said, okay, I'll sign the contract. But is my company bound to fulfill the requirement of giving you the cloths? You will say, yes, ma'am, आप fraud थोड़ी ना कर सकते. Chartered accountant होकर आप fraud करे, आपने sign करा है तो अब आप दो. तो मैं बोलूंगी क्यों? आप मेरा memorandum of association पढ़कर नहीं आए. I am not into business of manufacturing of cloth. Then you, an outsider who is doing wrong business with me, you will be held liable and I will not be binding. Because I am not supposed to do any business outside my object clause of the memorandum. If my object clause says that I'm into shoe business, I will only do the actions mentioned in my memorandum. If you have made any wrong contract with me, you as an outsider will be held responsible, not me. This is the beauty of Memorandum of Association. Let us understand the beautiful case law which talks about this. बच्चा ये आप पढ़ लोगे, ये बहुत सिंपल है. नेम क्लॉज, रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस क्लॉज, ये सिंपली आपको बताते हैं कि मेमोरेंडम में आपने ये सारे नेम ऑफ द ऑफिस, नेम ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, लायबिलिटी क्लॉज अगर आपकी लिमिटेड बाय शेयर्स है, हमने पढ़ा था लायबिलिटी बाय शेयर्स एंड गारंटीज मेमोरेंडम में मेंशन होता है, अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटी आर्टिकल्स में मेंशन होता है. ओके, सिर्फ एक पॉइंट बताने वाला है, अगर आपकी ओपीसी है तो आपका नॉमिनी क्लॉज भी आएगा जिसमें यू विल राइट द नेम ऑफ द पर्सन हु विल बिकम योर नॉमिनी इन केस ऑफ डेथ ऑफ द सब्सक्राइबर. समझ आ गया? डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ अल्ट्रा वायर्स. डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ अल्ट्रा वायर्स सिंपली टेल्स यू दैट मेमोरेंडम इज अ पब्लिक डॉक्यूमेंट. ये बात जो मैंने अभी आपको इंग्लिश में बताई, ये यहाँ पे लिखी हुई है. दैट एनीवन हु इज डीलिंग विद मी शुड नो द पावर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. Even if then you enter any contract which is ultra vires. Ultra vires means beyond the power of company. लिख लो. Ultra vires means, लिखा भी हुआ है. Ultra vires means beyond the power of the company. So if you enter any contract with me which is beyond my power, you cannot enforce it against the company. So doctrine of ultra vires is giving the protection to the company. It gives protection to the company, means company is not bound to do any acts outside its object clause. ये एग्जाम्पल जो मैंने अभी आपको दिया सिंपल सा शू एंड क्लॉथ बिजनेस का, लर्न कर लेना. केस लॉ समझते हैं. एशबरी रेलवे कैरेज एंड आयरन कंपनी लिमिटेड वर्सेस रिच. The leading case law. We have done Salomon versus Salomon. After that, we did Daimler Company, Dinshaw, and Guilford Motor versus Horn. 4 important case laws. Yes, Macora was also important. Just to tell you that we cannot have insurable interest. Now we are doing 6th important case law in this study. See, we have done revision also along with. So those who are asking, ma'am, will we have revision classes? If you can talk to the institute. Even I'll try to talk to them. If institute allows, we can hold the revision classes also. Ashbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company Limited versus Rich. But as of now, first we'll complete the syllabus. So it says, what were the facts of the case? There was a company, Ashbury Railway Carriage, and this company was making and selling the railway carriages and wagons. So railway carriage, train के डब्बे जो होते हैं, wagons जो होते हैं, वो उनको बनाते थे and sell करते. And also, children, they were doing the business of mechanical engineers, all the general contractors, whatever work was required for the manufacturing of this railway wagons, they were doing that. They were also giving mines on the lease, and they were into sale purchase of coal and timber also. So what happened? The directors of this company, they made a contract with Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich came to their office and Mr. Rich said, you know, I want to make a contract with you. I'm developing a construction of a railway line in Belgium and I want certain finances for that. So story scenario, dhyan se sunna. So he said, I want finances for my company. So your company can give me certain finances. So the company ratified the act by passing a special resolution. Company ने एक special resolution pass करा, directors को बुलाया कि हमें business मिल रहा है. Let's take up this business and now we can also do this contract of financing. Later on, company repudiated the contract being ultra vires. Later on, company said, no, we cannot do this because if you'll read my object clause, we are only into manufacturing of railway wagons and we do mechanical engineer work. We do not provide any finances. Did the object clause tell about finances? No, ma'am. It is nowhere mentioning about finances business. It is always saying that we provide the contractors on the for the business. We provide the mechanical engineers. We sell and work on mines. We are doing the business of timber, metals. We are selling on railway carriages and wagons. We are not into financing. So later on, director said, come on, we cannot do any such contract with you, Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich got very angry. He said, I will file an action against you for this breach of contract and you will have to pay me the damages. Breach of contract हो गया ना, मना कर दिया उन्होंने, तो damages pay करने पड़ेंगे. He said the word general contractors, I have read your memorandum, you have written the word general contractors. So that means you can do the work of general contractors, you can do shareholding, you can do financing work. So it was ratified by majority of shareholders. It means that shareholders tried to pass a resolution that, okay, fine, hum iska contract isi tarah le le. But Supreme Court said that the act which is ultra vires cannot be ratified even if all the shareholders agree to pass a resolution. If it is not mentioned in the object clause of the memorandum, I'm sorry, you cannot take up any such act. The meaning of general contractor was not the meaning of financing. Every kind of description means marine and life insurance, फिर तो सारे काम marine and life insurance वाले भी financing का काम करने लग जाएंगे. So it says general contractor was not so interpreted. You have to read the main business of the company. उन्होंने बोला, Mr. Rich, please read the main business of the company. The company is into railway carriage wagons. It is doing the general contracting work of, you know, building of the contractions of the construction line. We're not providing any finances for that. Mechanical engineers and general contractor means engineers provide karna construction ke liye, but not finances. We are not doing any finances. So therefore, an act ultra vires can never be binding on the company. Company was saved. Can you understand such a huge blunder being made by the company? They're signing the contract, try to ratify it also. Then also it is not valid. It cannot become intra vires just by a stopper or lapse of time. Means you can simply sum up that doctrine of ultra vires says that if the act is outside the object clause, number one, if the object clause is not being met, the act is ultra vires and it is void. Void का मतलब क्या होता है? Invalid. मतलब company liable नहीं है इसको पूरा करने के लिए. ठीक है? Abhinav Kumar and others who want me to speak in Hindi, I hope you're understanding, children. So null and void means that now you cannot, company cannot be enforced to fulfill this contract because it is outside my object clause. And if all the shareholders try to pass the consent, then also it cannot be ratified. Cannot be ratified means it cannot be approved even by all the shareholders. Even the act cannot be ratified by the directors. They can also not do it. But if an act is ultra vires the articles, then it can be ratified by passing a special resolution. अगर something is done outside the articles, वो कहते हैं फिर उसको फिर भी हम special resolution pass कर acceptable कर सकते हैं. But outside the memorandum, any act is done, it is ultra vires, it is void, it cannot be approved even by all the shareholders or directors. So basically, the disadvantage of this doctrine is that it does not provide it provides the protection to the shareholders and creditors. Mainly to provide protection to the shareholders. The disadvantage of this doctrine outweigh the main advantage, namely to provide protection. That means it's just providing the protection to the shareholders. That is, you cannot do any business outside your preview of your memorandum. It is only a nuisance as it prevents the company from changing its activities in a direction which is agreed by all. It says you cannot change your memorandum. We have decided, we have done all the registration, we have made the object clause. Just because one of the Mr. Rich has come and making this contract, we will not change our memorandum. It provides protection to the shareholders. and no protection was given to the outsiders. Then law said Articles of Association came up with another kind of doctrine wherein protection to the outsiders was given. पहले Memorandum of Association सबको समझ आ गया. Don't worry, even if time is less, I will not go without completing the syllabus. That's my promise to you. We have done the case laws, we have done examination question papers also. We have just left with these 2 pages. We'll wind up the syllabus and I'll give you 5 minutes for queries also. Don't worry. So memorandum में आपने simple याद रखना है कि object clause of the company is given in the memorandum. Company cannot do anything outside its memorandum. If company tries to go outside the object clause, the act is known as ultra vires. It is not binding on the company. Protection is given to the company in the doctrine of ultra vires. What is the meaning of Articles of Association? Article is a document which lays down the rules and regulations of the company. कितना याद करना है मैम? हमने इतना ही याद करना है कि इंटरनल अफेयर्स कैसे मैनेज होंगे, उसके सारे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस कहाँ लिखे होते हैं, उसके सारे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन में लिखे होते हैं. Articles are subsidiary to memorandum means first memorandum is made, then Articles of Association is made. So Articles of Association simply tells you what are the rules and regulations of the company. Section 5 lays down the contents and model of Article of Association. The way I have asked you to read the tables of memorandum, you can simply read this information. It simply tell you what all needs to be contained in your articles of regulations. It should tell you how the management of the company needs to be done, such matters which needs to be considered for the management. So how the directors will be appointed, how the resolution needs to be passed, at what time you'll be coming and doing the business, at what time you'll be leaving from the company. All these kinds of management related things should be given in the Articles of Association. And another thing is entrenchment. It says special provisions that can be altered even if the conditions are restricted. So anything which is, not acceptable, special resolution can be passed and you can do that entrenchment in order to protect something. So you want that shareholders were not earlier given the borrowing pass, directors were not given the borrowing pass. You want to extend those borrowing pass, so you can pass a special resolution and you can make that amendment in your articles. So it says any formation and amendment in the articles, if all the members agree and shareholders have agreed, and by passing a special resolution, you can include certain matters in your articles later on also. सिंपल है, तो ये आर्टिकल्स की इंफॉर्मेशन आपने रीड कर लेनी है. डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन मेमोरेंडम एंड आर्टिकल्स, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. एग्जामिनर कैन आस्क यू फॉर 2 marks or 3 marks or 4 marks. What is the difference between memorandum and articles? Memorandum tells the object of the company. Articles lays down rules and regulations. Simple. Memorandum defines the relationship of the company with the outside world because I'm doing business with them. Articles tell the relationship between the company and its members, how the members will come, how the members will go, how the management to be run. Everything is given in the articles. Memorandum can be altered only in the major circumstances. Regional directors or tribunals permission is required, children. Memorandum is the charter of the company. उसको alter करना इतना आसान नहीं है. Alter करना means change करना, बदलना. Regional director and tribunal की permission चाहिए होती है. बट अगर आर्टिकल्स में, मैंने अभी आपको बताया एंट्रेंचमेंट वाली प्रोविजन भी, अगर आप कोई भी चेंजेस करने हैं आर्टिकल्स में, आप स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन पास कीजिए, मीटिंग बुलाइए, पास कीजिए रेजोल्यूशन, आप ऑल्टरेशन कर सकते हैं. एंड एनी एक्ट डन बियॉन्ड मेमोरेंडम इज अल्ट्रा वायर्स, इट्स वॉइड, इट कैन नॉट बी इन्फोर्स्ड. हाउएवर एनी एक्ट डन आउटसाइड द आर्टिकल्स, यू कैन पास अ स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन एंड यू कैन स्टिल रेक्टिफाई. समझ आ गया? अब सेकेंड डॉक्ट्रिन पढ़ लेते हैं. डॉक्ट्रिन जो बच्चे पूछ रहे हैं, मैम व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ डॉक्ट्रिन? डॉक्ट्रिन मींस प्रिंसिपल, अ रूल व्हिच हैज बीन रूल्ड. सो डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ अल्ट्रा वायर्स सबको समझ आ गया? नोटबुक में लिख लो. डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ अल्ट्रा वायर्स प्रोवाइड्स प्रोटेक्शन टू द कंपनी. दैट कंपनी इज नॉट forceful to fulfill any obligation outside the object clause of the memorandum. Please repeat. No repeat. Syllabus खत्म करना. Second, doctrine of constructive notice. So doctrine का मतलब होता है प्रिंसिपल, रूल जो ले हुआ है. So doctrine of constructive notice का मतलब ये है कि जो हमारे मेमोरेंडम एंड आर्टिकल्स है चिल्ड्रन, they are the public documents and they are open for inspection to any person who wants to come and do business with you. So it is the duty of the person who is dealing with the company should read these documents, inspect these documents, means should read these documents. It is assumed that the person who has come to deal with me has good knowledge about my business. say if I am the railway carriage company and you are Mr. Rich, railway carriage company will not stand up and tell them that this is my object clause. It is your duty, Mr. Rich. You should read my public documents. So that is again the doctrine of constructive notice. Again, doctrine of constructive notice is providing protection to the company that whosoever is coming when dealing with me should have read the documents. They should have knowledge about the content of the documents. And also they should have understood them in the clear perspective. Don't say that general contractor word is written. Please understand the meaning before signing any kind of contract with you. So where you have written doctrine of ultra vires give protection to the company, write down doctrine of, doctrine of ultra vires gives protection to the company. समझ आ गया सबको? And doctrine of constructive notice क्या करते हैं? It tells you that it is a public document. Please read my MOA and then come and deal with me. So it is also giving the protection to the company, है ना? That कल को अगर आप पढ़कर नहीं आए हो मेरा memorandum and you make any wrong contract with me, so company is protected, giving the protection to the company. Ma'am, there is another doctrine, doctrine of indoor management. लिख लो पहले इसको फिर समझा देंगे. Doctrine of indoor management is the only doctrine that gives protection to the outsiders who are dealing with me. So all the outsiders who are dealing with the company, they got very worried. They said, you try making any kind of changes in the company and you are saying that the company will not be liable. आपने indoor management constructive notice में भी बोल दिया कि we should read the documents. In ultra vires also you said that company will be protected. Then who will try give protection to us? So law said doctrine of indoor management is one thing that is going to give protection to all the outsiders who are dealing with me. Now, why there was need of doctrine of indoor management? Law said anything which is happening in indoor management means darwaze ke andar. So anything which is happening inside the company. So articles of association is rules and regulations with the company. So memorandum outside the company, object clause you are dealing, ultra vires. Constructive notice, please read my memorandum, then come and do the contract. But any changes happening within the company, outsiders will not be held liable. Law says if you make any changes within the indoor management, then you should inform the outsiders. Outsiders will not be held liable. Then company will be held liable. And where it was laid down in the Dormant case law. It was laid down in the Dormant case law that doctrine of indoor management is providing protection to all the outsiders who are dealing with me. Company will be held responsible and not the outsiders. फटाफट से अपना last case law पढ़ लेते हैं हम. Royal British Bank versus Dormant. So what happened in this case law was so पहले वो कहता है if any person enters into contract beyond the past, it is outside the preview of memorandum, then company is protected. But doctrine of indoor management is the exception to doctrine of constructive notice. Means outsiders are deemed to know the object, but they are not deemed to know the internal affairs of the company. Any act which is authorized by memorandum, outsider is entitled to assume that all the detailed formalities have been done. There is a landmark case, Royal British Bank versus Dormant, will tell you that anything which is done within the company, outsiders will not have the knowledge of that. They are only supposed to have the doctrine of notice, means they will read the public documents, but there is an exception to doctrine of constructive notice, that is anything happening in door management, outsiders will not be held liable. So this Mr. Dormant was an official liquidator. So official liquidator कौन होता है? If any company has become insolvent, that there was company Camerson's, Colebrook Steam and Coal Sensua Railway Company. This company was declared insolvent. So when this company was declared insolvent, a liquidator was appointed for that company. The name of the liquidator was Mr. Turquin. Now, this company has given a bond of £2,000 to the Royal British Bank. So, kind of loan has been given by this company. He has taken a bond which was signed with the Royal British Bank. They have taken a loan of £2,000, which was secured on the company's drawing, means it was a secured loan. Security was given. And the bond was made under the company's seal. 2 directors have signed and the secretary. Remember, common seal. If you have a secretary, then 1 director, 1 secretary should sign it. Otherwise, 2 directors should sign it. And when the company was sued, it alleged that registered deed of settlement directors only had the power to borrow the amount which is authorized by the company resolution. And the resolution was passed, but not specifying how much the directors would borrow. Now, what was the entire case law? Royal British Bank went to the court and they said, look, this company has borrowed money of £2,000 from us. And now this Mr. Turquin, who is the liquidator of this company, he's not paying our money back. So Mr. Turquin said, this company which has become insolvent, they did not have the borrowing pass. Although the resolution was passed in the company, but it never specified how much amount the directors could borrow. Royal British Bank said, how am I bothered in your internal workings? Please, I don't have any requirement. The bond was valid. There is no requirement to look into the company's internal workings. Do you think the outsiders will come and knock at the company and say whether you have done your meetings? Have you decided how much borrowing powers have been decided by you all to be given to the directors? Law says that is your headache. Why did not you specify? Why are you holding me liable for that? I need my £2,000 back. I have given you a loan. I signed a bond with you. It is a secured bond. Please pay me money. Otherwise, I'll sell your company's assets. So the bond was valid because Royal British Bank can enforce it. He said the bank was deemed to be aware that the directors could only borrow up to the specified amount. So the fight was at this point that there was a constructive notice that yes, resolution needs to be passed, and that has been passed. But bank is not deemed to know that whether you have specified the amount or not. This is the indoor management role. That is, company's internal affairs are the company's problem and not the outsiders. सबको इतना समझ आ गया अब इंडोर मैनेजमेंट का? Let me just quickly have this go through of your ratification means approval, children. Intra-vires means something which is within the control. Miss Parinita, thank you. Thank you so much. Bhumika says understood. Sagar says Balasujal Lakshmi, ratified means approval. So once the act is outside the object of memorandum, it cannot be ratified. It means it cannot be approved by the shareholders. All of you, those who are asking meaning of ratification, please write down. Ratified means approved. So it cannot be ratified means it cannot be approved. Ms. Priyanka, if company has signed a contract outside the memorandum, it is ultra-vires, company will not be held liable. Ekta Tiwari, ultra-vires mein action cannot be taken against the company. Balasajjan Lakshmi, again you're asking MOA in English. We have done the entire MOA. I hope you have understood. MOA means Memorandum of Association. It lays down the entire object of the company. What is the purpose for which the company is formed? And tomorrow, if you make a contract which is not mentioned in my object clause, then it will not be binding on the company. Company cannot fulfill the obligation. It becomes void. Void means it is not valid. Mr. Prakhar, any changes in the object clause, alteration in memorandum is required. Regional director's approval will be required for that. Very good, Shrindi, Sakshi, those who have written clearly understood. I'm so happy. Good, Anshita, Parinita, Divesh, Soni, nice. Sehajpreet Kaur, constructive notice means that the people who are dealing with the company are supposed to read the documents, that is MOA and AOA, and it is assumed that they are aware about my object for which I am dealing. Thank you so much, Ms. Shruti Tiwari. I am glad you have enjoyed the class as well. Good, Asha Panziba, crystal clear. Kshitij saying crystal clear, understood. Very good. Okay, so shall we continue further now? So everyone is clear, Ultra Vires is clear, Royal British Bank Turquoise rule is also clear. So what we learned in Turquoise rule, that internal affairs, any changes are being made by company, outsiders will not be held responsible. But abhi kahani baki hai mere dost. There is still certain story which is left. It says there are exceptions to the indoor management also. First listen to it. I will revise also once again. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Saima and Balasajjan Lakshmi and Ekta Tiwari. Good. P. Vishnu, my blessings are always with all of you. Don't worry. Okay. So, exceptions to indoor management means now again the cases wherein the company will be held liable. Indoor management, abhi aapne likha tha 3 things you have written: ultra vires, protection to company; constructive notice, protection to company; indoor management, protection to outsiders. Again, exceptions to indoor management are the cases where the outsiders will not be held liable. The person who is dealing with the company has the notice of it. That particular person, that company will be held liable. So Turquoise rule has its own limitation. It says it cannot be made applicable to all the cases. There are certain cases where an outsider who is dealing with the company is entitled to assume that it has been done in the same manner. Means everybody who is dealing with the company is not required to know the internal affairs. But if you are aware of the internal affairs, then you will be held responsible. Number 1, actual or constructive knowledge of irregularity. It says if there are certain directors who are aware that the company does not have the authorization for the borrowing powers and still he has borrowed the money, in such a case, if you are aware of such irregularity and the person has the notice of this irregularity, then Turquoise rule will not be applicable and that particular person who has done such wrong thing will be held liable. A director cannot defend an allotment of shares to him as he participated in the meeting in which the allotment was made. So Morris versus Kenson case tells you that there was a director who was aware that the company does not have the authorization to borrow money and now he himself has allotted the shares up to a certain extent. You cannot escape from the responsibility because his appointment can also fell through. None of the directors appointed him as validity in the office. Means you were part of my organization. You are very well aware that the company does not have the authorization. Now, if you are saying that the company has done something wrong, this particular director will be held responsible. Clear ho gaya? So it simply tries to tell you where any knowledge of irregularity is there. In that case, Turquoise rule will not be applicable and that particular person who has made that wrong thing will be responsible. Say, for example, a director is somebody who is aware of the internal affairs. And in the Articles of Association, it was written that the company can do maximum fundraising of, let's assume, 1,500 rupees, 1,500 pounds. And the company's director gave loan beyond that amount. Now here, if a director of a company is trying to do a wrong thing, he was aware about the 1,500 pounds allotment of shares amount restriction that we have put. And if any case he is trying to be an insider and outsider as well, then he is aware of the irregularity. In such a case, that particular director will be held responsible and company and outsiders will not be responsible. Suspicion of irregularity means those who have behaved negligently. Anand Bihari Lal versus Dinsho and Company is very interesting case law. What happened in this case law? There was a person who has signed transfer of company's property and an accountant has signed this deed. So do you think an accountant has the authority to sign the company's transfer papers? Accountant does not have the power of attorney, is not in the hand of accountant. He cannot sign this kind of agreement. So it was held power of attorney that the accountant had the authority cannot be supposed to happen. This is something where there is a suspicion, negligence has happened. In such a case, this particular accountant will be held liable and not that outsider who has made the contract with the company. So all these exceptions of indoor management where suspicion of irregularity, outsiders from where you have borrowed the loan will not be held liable. That particular director is held liable. Suspicion of irregularity where the accountant has signed the company's papers wrongly, then that accountant will held liable, not the outsider with whom the contract was made. And forgery means forged signatures means galat signature, nakli signature. Any act of forgery if it has been done. In Rubin versus Great Fingal Consolidated, what happened was that a share transferee of a share certificate was given and company secretary signatures were forged. The company secretary has signed on his own, and 2 directors also he made his own signature. So law says here company secretary who is forging the signature, forger का मतलब होता है नकली sign करना. So if you're giving false signatures, if you're trying to forge the signatures of directors, then that company secretary will be held liable and not that respective company. The doctrine of indoor management, Royal British Bank versus Turquoise rule you have to remember. In that rule, we have learned that outsiders are given the protection. If some changes have happened within the internal working of the company, outsiders will not be held liable. But 3 exceptions of Turquoise rule says that if there is any irregularity notice, if there is any suspicion, accountant case, if there are any forged signatures, then company will be responsible. Outsiders will not be responsible. And with this, we come to an end of our entire sessions. I will be here for more 2-3 minutes. Feel free to ask your queries. All those who have sent those emotional messages, even I feel totally engaged and attached with all of you children. Miss Pooja Verma, thank you so much. I am glad you have enjoyed my classes. And even I'm going to miss all of you. And we'll try to figure out if something can be done and I can handle your queries otherwise also. No, Mr. Sachin Agarwal, sections are not compulsory. Harshit Bhutani, any changes in AOA, you will learn in CA Inter how the alteration in AOA happens. Thank you, Pooja Verma. Thank you, Mr. Bibuhu. Definitely. That's great, Mr. Bibuhu. Thank you so much, Ms. Ziva. Directors will be, yes, Ms. Sagar, directors will be held responsible for that. Mr. Adish Shah, thank you so much. Power of attorney, Harshit Bhutani, जिसके companies के documents जो होते हैं, power of attorney means the documents of the property of the company's papers. Thank you so much, Mr. Abhinav Kumar. Thank you, Adish Shah. Meaning of forgery, Yashika. So I just told you forgery means false signatures. Thank you, Pooja Kumari. Thank you, children. Thank you, Ms. Bhumika. Thank you, Khushi Namdeo. Turquoise rule, Ms. Saima. You can ask what you have not understood in Turquoise rule. Thank you so much, Sakaldeep. So, Mr. Raghav Shah, in the memorandum, if it is mentioned that the company can do any business, so only the business which is mentioned in the object clause of the Memorandum of Association, not beyond that. Thank you, Ms. Neha Saha. Even I'm going to miss all of you. Thank you, Harshit. Ms. Manvi, I wish we could do that, but this is our boundary line. We cannot go beyond that. Thank you, Lakshita. Thank you, Sehajpreet. Thank you, children. Those who are asking, ma'am, sufficient syllabus, just go through my PPTs and study materials sufficiently enough. And after that, try to do the mock test papers as well. They have all the suggested answers. Answers are also given in on the ICA website. You can read them. So in exceptions, A point Balasajan Lakshmi, it means if the director is aware of any irregularity, if the director is aware of the internal affairs and he's still borrowing the money beyond its limit, then that director will be held responsible, not the outsiders. Thank you, Ms. Sagar Al-Rakha. Thank you, Jyoti Manji. Yashika, I hope forgery is now clear, children. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Asha Babu. Ash Babu. Thank you, Sakshi. Adish Shah, I hope I can meet you again and see you. Same goes for you, Balasajan Lakshmi. Let's see. Thank you, Gunjan Devi. Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you, Tanishka. Okay, children, now I can just see all the thank you messages. Our Hindu Biswas, the paid up capital is the amount of capital which has been paid up. So we did authorized the maximum limit which the company can raise, and then we issue the capital. to the public, and then public subscribes and take up the shares, that is subscribed capital. And after that, it is the called up capital on which the amount has been called, and how much amount the shareholders, the public has paid is the paid up capital. So whenever we're going to make any investment, we have to see the paid up capital of the company. Yes, Miss Vaishnav Viben Jadhav, it's the last class today for law. Thank you, Balasajan Lakshmi, when I'm going to miss all of you. Sheetal Kumari saying exceptions of caveat emptor. So simply remember the rule of caveat emptor. The buyer should be aware before buying anything. So just remember those kind of points that we have discussed in the implied conditions and warranties. You simply have to remember those implied conditions which become your exceptions. Thank you, Ankit Mishra. All right, children. Insolvent company did Miss Saima Khatun in that Quinn case. It was simply held that insolvent company did not do anything. It is just to confuse you. Additional information has been given. The case was filed by Turquin, who was the liquidator of that company which went into insolvency. So you simply have to remember that Royal British Bank is having a fight with Turquin. Turquin said that we will not pay back your money. Royal British Bank saying, please pay back my money. Turquin was saying, I will not pay back your money because the directors did not have not specified the amount for the borrowing limit. Authorization was not given. The Royal British Bank said, I am not supposed to know your internal affairs. You have to pay back my money. All right. I hope you have understood now. Thank you so much, Mr. Chetan Mathane. Thank you, Tejashree. Thank you, Swati Giri. Thank you, children. Thank you, Adish Shah. I hope I can meet you again. That's my wish too. Thank you, Manvi Khanna. Thank you, Anshita. Thank you, children. Thank you, Isha Pandit. Thank you, Arshdeep. Section 8, no limits have been given. Arshdeep, you simply have to remember the limited liability concept and all these charitable things, objectives that we have discussed in that. Thank you, Ziba. Thank you, Stuti. I'm glad law has become easy for you. Harshit Bhutani, I wish I could have solved all those queries. So we'll try to figure it out if any other thing can be worked out. But I hope you have understood everything in today's session. Thank you. Thank you, children. All right, children. All of you, wish you a good luck. Liquidator Gunjan Devi. Liquidator means the person who has been appointed when the company has gone into liquidation. Then a person is appointed to take up the care of all the assets and liabilities of the company. Definitely, Sakaldeep, you all will pass CAs soon. My good wishes for all of you. Yes, Arhendu, I wish we could arrange revision classes. Let's see how the institute takes the decision about that. So here, wishing all of you good luck, stay motivated, and keep revising your studies, keep revising law, whatever we have done in the class. Try sitting with the recorded lectures once. If you have missed out certain point, listen it to again. Revision and hard work is the key to success. And I wish you all the best. And I'm 100% sure in the next session, you all will be coming in telling me, ma'am, I have cleared my CA foundation. Wish you good luck, children. Thank you so much. God bless.